This video will help you create the foldable for your notebook on estimating square roots. You'll need the green sheet, the orange sheet, scissors, a glue stick, and your notebook. Okay, the first instruction is to go ahead and cut out the dotted lines on the orange. So you'll have one large orange sheet and two squares. You're going to cut the dotted lines and you'll end up with one orange and two green pieces. Orange and green. Okay, so we have done square roots, we've done perfect squares, but what happens if our square is not perfect? Well, your first step is to grab your notebook, and you're going to be using our squares and square roots. So let's look on page 5. Square roots just got real, and here is our list. We're going to be using this. So take the orange sheet and the square root of 27. I want to find this on this list. Notice 27 is not a perfect square. However, 27 falls between 25 and 36. So 25 would be the lower boundary. 27 is going to be somewhere in the middle here, and the next one is 36. All right, once you do that, you need to find the square root of 25, which is 5, and the square root of 36, which is 6. So I know the square root of 27 falls somewhere between 5 and 6. For some questions, that's all you need to know. They'll just ask you what two numbers does this square fall between, and the answers would be 5 and 6. But sometimes they're going to ask you to come up with the actual approximate value of the square root of your number. So square root of 27 is irrational. That's what we just got done studying. So it says to take the irrational number, which if you remember is our radicand. It's the number under the radical sign. So 27 minus the lower perfect square. Lower perfect square is 25. And notice I am not using the radical signs here, just the radicands, the number inside. And then this is the bigger perfect square, which is 36, minus the lower perfect square, which again is 25. 27 minus 25 is 2. 36 minus 25 is 11. So I end up with, you want the lower whole number, so it's 5, and 2 over 11. And to change that into a decimal, I'm going to take my calculator and I'm going to type in 5 and 2 over 11, and I'm going to change it to a decimal. So second, n over d, enter, and I'm going to round it to the nearest tenth place. There's 1 0 in 10, so I want one decimal place. So I am looking at this 1 right here, and I need to decide what to do with it using the 8. 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, we're going to bump this up 1, so my final answer is 5.2. Okay, so go ahead and take your notebook, and on page 18, let's glue this down. And we're going to call this Estimating Square Roots. And let's glue that down. So actually, now that we've done that, let's see, 16, 17, 18, label your pages 18, 19, glue this on page 19. Okay, page 19. estimating square roots. All right, and let's go back to the table of contents. And we're missing a couple pages, I see. So page 16 are rational numbers. 17 is irrational. If you did it backwards, then make sure your table of contents matches your notebook. And then estimating square roots is on page 19. All right, so then go ahead and close your notebook and take out the green pieces, and let's take a look at those. We're going to do the exact same thing. So I have the square root of 135, so let's go back to our notebook, back to page 5, and 135 is going to fall between 121 and 144. Okay, 121, the square root of 121 is 11. And the square root of 144 is 12. All right, and I take my radicand from the irrational one, 135, minus the lower number. Then I take the bigger minus the lower. 135 minus 121 is 14. 144 minus 121 is 23. So there's my fraction. I use my smaller number, and then I make that a decimal. So I have 11 and 14 over 23. Whoops. Second, N over D, enter, and I end up with 11.6. All right, let's try one more. Approximate radical 57. Okay, back to our notebook, back to page 5. 57 is going to fall between 49 and 64. So 49 and 64. 49, square root of 49 is 7. Square root of 64 is 8. And I want 57 minus the smaller, and then the bigger minus the smaller. 57 minus 49 is 8. 64 minus 49 is 15. So there's my fraction, 8 over 15. And I want the smaller of the two. And then let's make it a decimal. 7 and 8 over 15. Second, N over D, enter. And I get 7.5. All right, so there are two examples. Let's get those in our notebooks. So turn to page 18. And it doesn't matter who's on top, who's on the bottom, but glue them both on this page. So you've got 3 examples, one with writing on it on the orange sheet, and then 2 more examples in green to help you. When you're done gluing these in your notebook, there is a practice sheet that you can use this video and your notebook pages for to fill out. All right, all done.